everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be watching episodes 13 and 14 of the Apothecary Diaries. Last time we left off, Jinshi bought out Maomao. So what does that fully entail? I'm not too sure, but I'm sure we're going to get the gist of what her new reality is going to be. I'm really excited to see what this second half of the season is going to be like, if there's going to be a noticeable difference, and if it's going to be a turning point for the story. What does this mean for Maomao now that she's been bought out? Is that going to be all good? Is it not going to all be sugar and rainbows? So I'm looking forward to seeing what these new circumstances are going to be. But guys, feel free to check out my YouTube memberships. They're only $1 and you get to have access to episodes like these and also my full reactions too.
どんなに努力しようとも地も部も凡人に毛が生えた程度のもの本当に自分が欲しいものはなかなか手に入らない
I wonder what Jinshi really wants, what his desires are. Hey, new opening. Pretty cool visuals already. I'm gonna miss the first intro, I think. Damn. That was a nice new intro. Good song.
はいはい。これもなあ、これも持っていきな。仕事行くのにシャレるのは技術くらいなもんでしょ。
So is she moving out?
いいところに勤められてよかったね。
ついでに乗客も連れてきてくれると嬉しいわ。
金持ちのいい旦那を見つけてくるんだよ。
Because Maomao's situation's pretty permanent, right? I mean, she got bought out. She's no longer staying here.
親父を残してまた住み込みで働くのは気が引けるが、以前よりも随分規則も緩く、行方不明の状態というわけでもない。
I think it's important for me to know it's not like she was bought out as a slave necessarily. She just had her debts paid off, right? That's why she was referring to where she's moving to as her new workplace.
そうだね。いつでも帰っておいで。
Such an interesting chain of events for her. Because she was kidnapped, had to work that off, and then was let go, laid off. All of them are her wingman. No one recognizes her.
嫌に注目されました。
それはお前が
なんでしょうか。
なんでもない
Yeah, he's definitely not used to seeing her like that. He's getting jealous.
薬屋ここではいつものそばかす顔に戻してくれ
え？わかりました。
Yeah, probably doesn't want a whole lot of people looking at her like that. He's like, no, mine.
ガウシュン様、てっきり高級へ戻るものだと思っていたのですが。
一度辞めさせた手前、そう簡単に戻ることはできません。
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if there's gonna be like an interesting dynamic with Jinshi, because he paid a bunch of money for her, so I wonder if there's gonna be some kind of ownership kind of dynamic.
次女の睡蓮よ。あなたがシャオマオね。
シャオマオ？
I may need an explanation on Maomao.
俺はお前に下働きをさせる気はないのだが
は？
外邸で働いてもらうと言ったろ
Outer court.
勘定試験を受けてもらうぞ
勘定試験？
This will be cool. I have no idea what this entails, but if it has anything to do with like studying and any kind of like a test of intellect, it would be interesting for her. This exam could be anything though, so I may have the wrong idea. It's interesting how she knows Jinshi's like attractive and she recognizes that. At least when she looks at him objectively, she sees all that. Otherwise, there's this wall definitely in her way when they get too close.
興味がないものの物覚えは人並み以下なんだよな。
I am the same way. I'm sure most people are. I only want to learn about things I'm interested in, right?
シャオマオ、勘定になれば外邸が職場になるのですよ。
はい。勘定ね。
I wish I knew what a court lady was exactly.
新入りの観察か。嫌な感じだ。
Yeah, because she gets to live with him.
餌がいいと育ちもいいんだな。
聞いてるの。どうしてあなたみたいな子が人士様直属なのよ。
Can't hear a word. Oh, there was one of them that wasn't irritated. There might be a cool one out of all of them.
ならなんであなたが雇われているの？
'Cause I'm smart as fuck.
この間やけど薬の実験したからぐちょぐちょなんだよな。
行きましょう。
At least that last one is an interesting character.
勉強の方はやっているのか？
そうそうそうそうそうそうそう
おい！
そうそうそうそうそうそうそうそう。
なぜ落ちる？
なぜ受かると思う？
マオマオは人士の部屋好き下女となった。
Interesting. I thought we would at least have a montage of her studying.
ここから先はあなたの立ち入る場所ではないはずです。
白檀の香りと独特の苦味を帯びた匂い。
I'm sure that's gonna be really important. Right, we saw this guy earlier. What is going on? It is interesting that we are kind of... I think we've gotten enough hints that Jinshi has feelings for Maomao, and like we sometimes poke at that, but we don't necessarily like super lean into that, at least not just yet. So it really does seem like we've crossed the midway point and we're now on new ground. We're in new territory. Slightly new setting, even though we are back at the palace technically, but we're surrounded by new characters. And I was just thinking it's interesting that we've been around Jinshi a lot, but now we're kind of entering a different part of his life. Now we kind of get to see where he's been going home to this whole time and who he's been surrounded with whenever he does go home. So it's like we only saw him in certain parts of the day. We're being a bit more intimate in his inner circle. So I definitely think story-wise, this kind of does keep things fresh. And I'm interested in seeing just how Maomao adapts to this situation and seeing if they end up finding something for her to do, like giving her an official position, because obviously she didn't pass her court lady test. They did kind of mention that she would just be his personal assistant. I don't know if that was a joke or if that's what her actual position is now. There's definitely something ominous going on, and it looks like we got some hints towards the next episode, so we'll go ahead and check that out. Every now and then I get a slight Game of Thrones vibe from certain story arcs. To me, I really am getting that vibe very heavily here, especially with the music.
本気ですか？もちろん。せっかくマオマオが戻ってきてくれたんだもの。
Game of Thrones, people playing games here.
ご冗談を。
何が冗談だ。推薦人の名前も書いてあるだろ。
推薦人？
Kyo Kyo, yep.
もう一通ある。
リファ様まで。
Oh, I forgot Maomao gave some of that advice.
今のうち。
この2が講義で使う教材か？
なんだかここだけ墨の色が違うわね。
Yeah, his mate is sharp.
大事な教材を見せるわけにはいかない。
わかった。見ない。
I love all the creative ways they draw Maomao to make her look like a cat.
ジンシ様よ。今日も麗しいわ。
Yep, he knows what he's doing. He made that quite clear.
玉葉様。相変わらずお綺麗だ。本ニャン様も。
I was a little worried that we wouldn't see them a whole lot anymore.
あの次女はおしろいの時の。そんなに警戒しなくても。
The one that we slapped into next Tuesday.
新しい宿費、ローラン妃か。南国町の派手な服は趣味か。顔立ちは北寄りに見えるが。
Right, so she's the replacement, right?
これから皆様にお教えするのは、女の園における秘術ゆえ。他言無用にお願いします。
Wonder what it is, some Kama Sutra stuff. God. Especially her. Yeah, I was gonna say, she seems very disinterested with everything.
マンネリ離脱
ここをこうして無理絶対無理
And then nothing from you, girl. What is up with her? Whoa. Is that an explosion?
何か気になることでも？
いや、何もないよ。
Maybe he had some ash in his fingers from the pipe.
私はただ渡しただけに過ぎませんので。
刑女に綿入れ1枚渡すのにも許可が必要なんて大変だな。ありがとうございます。
Well, it's more than that, right?
マンジャシャゲ、ここにも、あそこにも。
So she had more access to supplies in her previous work situation in the rear palace.
李白様、六将官三姫の一人、大輪姉ちゃんに惚れて。
So he's working to be able to get some more time with her.
怪我人は？
倉庫番だけだ。命に別状はないが。っておい、あんまり近づくなよ。
わかりました。
Just need to go in there and solve the case. She's gonna look at something. She'll know exactly what happened.
爆発、食料庫、キセル。
It seems fairly careless to leave something like that behind, assuming it was arson.
それ小麦粉だよな。
はい、倉庫にあったものです。
Is it flammable?
これでいいですか？
Making a controlled explosion.
すぐに逃げてくださいね。
あ？逃げるって何がだよ。
She told you.
言ったのに。
Yeah.
人目を盗んで一服するため中に入ると外気が流れ込んで粉が舞いま
So
す。
it could have been an accident.
んなことよく知ってるな。
以前六将館で間借りしていた部屋を吹っ飛ばしたことがありまして。
お前。
She's had experience.
売ればそれなりの金になりそうだ。というか倉庫番が持つには立派すぎる。
Yeah, would something like that can it only be owned by people of certain status? What was up with that? So there's probably definitely more to that storyline for sure. I'd be surprised to think that that was just the end of it, especially if Maomao is going to keep the pipe. Surely that pipe will get led to somebody, you know. They might recognize the pipe, so I'm sure it has an owner. I already forgot the new concubine's name, if they've already mentioned her name, but I definitely want to know more about her. She hasn't said a word, so, which is annoying, because I want to know more about her, but they just literally won't let her give any information. She did give Maomao a weird look. So my first thought is she even interested in men? Maybe she's interested in women. Maybe that's why she was looking at Maomao. Or would she just be interested in Maomao in particular for other reasons? So we're being fed just tiny little bits of information with no follow through just yet. So definitely have to put that into my memory whenever we go into the next couple of episodes. Again, I'm glad we haven't just left the concubines behind to where we just hardly ever see them anymore. I'm sure they're not really going to be a focal point anymore since we're not hanging out with them all the time, but I'm glad that we at least have storylines in which we do get to interact with them again and kind of treat them as if they're old friends now. So far nothing super serious or dire is happening just yet with this second half. We're kind of proceeding as business as usual. We just now have a different setting, but I think there's definitely potential for more serious storylines, being that we're now probably like more physically closer to the Emperor now, so the potential for something more high stakes is definitely there. But another great couple of episodes, like the direction so far in this second half of the season. But that's it for me, guys. Hope you had enjoyed the reaction, and I'll see you next time.